This time on Dream Funders, phones and drones. Local entrepreneurs hope to launch 2 new high-tech businesses.
Because this is an ever-present problem in our society.
Will either idea get off the ground?
And to date, we've raised $240,000.
Find out right now on Dream Funders. Welcome to Dream Funders, the show that hopes to match big ideas with big bucks. We match the dreamers with the funders. And this time, it's all about new technology. Meet a team of local drone pilots who say their skills will result in profits going sky high. We'll see what our investors think. Plus, a pair of entrepreneurs goes way out on a limb, shattering an iPhone that belongs to one of our funders. Will their dreams be shattered too? Or can they put the phone back together, along with a new deal with our investors? We'll meet our dreamers coming up, but right now, let's meet the funders. First, Darren King, an IU honors grad who has the Midas touch when it comes to local businesses. He once turned a failing local startup into a $30 million company. And Tony Holland is here. He's a Louisville native known for his success in the tax service business. And now, along with the rest of our panel, he helps manage a $4.5 million investment fund, hoping to make Kentucky entrepreneurs' dreams come true. Marty McClellan is with us. He's the chairman of the Enterprise Angels funding team, while managing $280 million in accounts and hedge funds. Finally, Doug White, who specializes in turning failing businesses into moneymakers. He's invested $4 million of his own money. He's also on the Enterprise Angels team with the rest of our panel tonight. Those are our funders. Now let's meet our first group of dreamers who hope their idea for a drone service will truly take flight.
Safe. Hi everybody, I'm Mickey Murata, Unmanned Services Inc. CEO. This is Matt Doggett. He's our commercial pilot that flies drones, and we provide drone flight services. And without further ado, this is Chris Stiles, our president.
Hi. So, as you mentioned, we do drone flight services. It's here. Typically, there's a lot of tasks that are dangerous, expensive, or currently can't be done with a lot of traditional inspection techniques or even manned aircraft. So we solve these problems for companies by using drones to provide a cheaper, safer, and faster way for them to perform these types of tasks that may be dangerous or even expensive for a lot of them. As you well know, drones are a big thing these days. The market is exploding. There's a lot of key markets and applications that we fly for, such as law enforcement, agriculture, power utilities, mining, construction, land development, and the list goes on. As you can see, we've had quite a bit of media exposure lately. We garnered quite a few customers. We've got about 200 customers as of right now. We started in August, and we are also in advanced talks with a lot of other companies, and we are certified, exempt, and insured. So we operate safely, we operate under FAA regulations, and are strictly by their guidelines, and we use certified pilots to fly. Our competition, there's a few in the market. Most of the competitors are software or hardware providers that either make drones or they produce a software solution for them, and their flight services is a secondary that they offer to support that primary service. So they're not really in this market, and there are none that are here in the central Kentucky area. Our projected revenue in 5 years, we're looking for statewide sales in a range of $7 million and nationwide of $372 million. By 2020, it's expected to be an $80 billion industry.
What will our investors do with this? Will the idea get off the ground or crash and burn?
What have your sales been so far?
Find out when Dream Funders returns. I'm Melissa Fraser, back with you on Dream Funders, where we're matching local entrepreneurs with local investors. Earlier, we met the guys from Unmanned Services, who are hoping to turn their love of drones into profit.
Our projected revenue in 5 years, we're looking for statewide sales in a range of $7 million and nationwide of $372 million. By 2020, it's expected to be an $80 billion industry.
The question now is, will the idea get off the ground, or do they just have their heads in the clouds? Panel, is this a fundable business?
What have your sales been so far?
We started in August, and to date we've made about 28,000 in sales. And a lot of that was after we first got our exemption, generating work with clients, doing a lot of business development, and that's really picked up over these last couple of months.
Wait, you said 28,000 year to date?
Since August, since we started in August.
So how many customers make up that $28,000?
We've got about 200 clients on our books right now.
But so 200 clients have paid you money?
No, 200 clients. Say, for instance, for real estate, we have 150 real estate agents that will work exclusively for us to provide them their drone services when they need them for their listings.
But how many separate clients have paid you money to make up the $28,000?
About another 2 dozen.
Yeah.
So 24 clients, $28,000. So if you're going to do $2.2 million starting in 2 weeks,
Right.
how are you going to get? You've got to get 2 million clients.
Not really. A lot of our
if
market,
I map it from
right. A lot of our market's going to pick up in the spring and the summer, like construction. Agriculture is going to be big. That's projected to be the biggest market as far as for revenues. And obviously that starts in the springtime for a lot of that for agriculture and farming. We're getting in with them now with the agriculture service providers to get them lined up and start talking to the farmers right now. Same thing for construction. We're getting lined up with a lot of these companies. Some of them have already started to use us for limited projects that they've got going on during the winter, but the vast majority of that will pick up during the spring and summer.
How much does a drone cost?
For us, we use kind of prosumer level ones, so they start at about 500. We do a lot of upgrades, and by the time we get done with that, it's about $2,000 per setup.
And how much does it cost to certify a pilot?
Well, a pilot has to be a manned pilot, so they've got to go through at least a minimum of, say, a commercial or private pilot or even a recreational pilot license through the FAA. So they have to be a manned pilot first before they can come to us, and we train them how to fly drones.
How long does that take for them to go through that training?
It varies. For a private pilot, it can be an average of about 40 hours of flight time. Commercial pilots, that's a build add-on. Currently we only have commercial rated pilots. It's a much higher level. They have a lot more experience in flight time under their belts. And we've learned that they're much easier to train and they can handle this line of work.
So how much would you pay? Someone who flew a commercial plane?
Commercial planes, yes sir.
They're the only people who can operate these.
Currently, right, in the next year, FAA is going to come out with a new drone pilot license. So you won't have to be a manned pilot anymore. So you go down and you take this test, and then you'll be able to fly drones commercially under this new rating. And it's basically like a ground school is what they have to know for basic aviation, aerospace, and that sort of stuff, so they can still fly safely.
So I'm a commercially licensed pilot according to the FAA. It doesn't mean I fly an airline. A lot of people hear commercial pilot, they think I fly for Delta. There's not what a commercial pilot means. A private pilot means you can do it as a recreation. A commercial pilot means I can make money as a pilot. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that I can go fly for Delta. Right. On top of that, I have a flight instructor and other qualifications. But all you need in order to fly one of these legally commercially is a private, but we're using commercially rated pilots or higher. So the level of skill for a commercially rated pilot versus a private pilot.
And how much do you pay your pilot per
starting
flight?
Salary, if they have no experience using drones, then starting is typically around 25, 27 an hour. We pay our pilots hourly. And it can go all the way up to $50 an hour if they're very skilled. They know everything, advanced stuff like mapping and geospatial stuff. So it can vary very widely.
So what do you think, guys? You've asked a lot of questions. Is there anything that, is there a business here?
It's definitely a business here. I mean, it's going to be a big market.
I see the market too.
I guess I just think there's going to be too much competition, and I just don't believe the numbers. So for that reason, I've got to be out.
Yeah.
I too am struggling with the numbers because and I think as you present further to other potential investors, make sure you guys really know those numbers because it's critical. I mean, I can tell you're kind of guessing at some of them.
It's not that I'm guessing. I'm taking out. You guys are asked, profit and expense, and then there's investment that's onto that. Basically, if there's $3 million in revenue in the next 18 months, all expenses and everything is $1.1 million, and that leaves about $2 million left over.
For reinvestment expansion.
That is the high end, obviously.
Right.
So in the next 18 months, if we met 50% of that cap, we're still going to net $1 million. And I'm positive we'll do it. Again, the folks that you're looking at in this room in the state of Kentucky, as far as drones are concerned, these are the subject matter experts. 15 years experience, aviation experience, prior military, prior DoD contractors, prior drone, it's all drones. And the numbers, I totally understand that. And getting a partner on that would be able to help us with those numbers would really help out. But I stand strong by those numbers, and I stand strong that 12 to 24 customers is going to if they're big time customers, utility company, telecommunication, in the state of Kentucky, we're going to land those contracts.
I just want to say what you just said was really, really good. I wish you would have said that earlier, but if you've really got a unique experience set that other people can't do in the region, not nationally, but in the region, that's powerful. Right. So that was a good statement that you just made.
I've used a drone service and I see the market, but I want to see a couple of high value contracts first. But I'm willing to talk again later.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess I'm probably the most positive of all of us on this one.
That's
You're
Mr. Sunshine. Yeah.
No,
Mr. Sunshine.
it's getting late.
Yeah, exactly. I'm usually, we're all four of us are on a fund together, and I'm usually the most negative of the four of us. So take that as a compliment. I'm actually pretty positive on what you guys are doing. I like the fact that you have the experience, you got skin in the game, you've been doing it for a while. The thing that I don't like about it, and like Doug pointed out, you guys don't really know the numbers, and I think if someone, an accountant, came in there and started drilling you on that, I think they blow holes in your numbers. I don't think making $2 million on $3 million in revenues is.
I'd love to show you on paper.
Okay, that'd be great. We'd love to see it. And I think we as a fund, if you could convince us that you're going to make $2 million on $3 million in revenue, I think we would be in.
Well, let's show you on paper.
Then why don't we do that? Why don't we?
Well, yeah, I think we should explore, because I think at least all these big companies are going to use the service. Like a utility that's on a cost plus.
They're going to use somebody.
Model. They're going to use somebody like
I like the business.
local
utility.
The demand's there.
The local utility co-ops are also actually a bigger or larger than going after the larger utility companies, because they will shell out for the outsourcing.
Yeah. So show us the projections, show us all that stuff. Let's get into it. I personally would invest in it. And I think if we could believe in the numbers, I think that the fund would love a deal like this, wouldn't we?
Mickey, it sounds like you guys got a date. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
Looks like another partnership is taking flight. We love it when that happens, and we're not done yet. Coming up, another high-tech idea that solves the costly problem of a broken phone.
Because this is an ever-present problem in our society.
Can these dreamers make a connection with these investors? Find out when Dream Funders returns. Welcome back to Dream Funders, the local TV series that puts people with good ideas together with people who have hard cash ready to invest. We like to call them dreamers and funders. Right now, our dream team of investors includes Micah Busey, a Louisville native whose latest venture was just voted the #1 direct sales company in America. He's a CEO and a marketing guy in search of the next big thing. We have Phil Mason, who spent 40 years owning, operating, buying, and selling major companies, many of them right here in Louisville, from modeling agencies to full-service hotels. Pat Yates, who hit it big with his Happy Feet. He's appeared on Shark Tank with that business, which is now a $4 million a year company. And finally, Jennifer Williams, a successful entrepreneur herself, most notably with her business called Cuddle Clones, which makes plush versions of people's favorite pets. Those are the funders. Now let's meet our next dreamers.
Good evening. We are Phone Falcon. With me today is Jared Duker. I'm Gil Roberts. We are the premier solution for smartphone and tablet repair in the city of Louisville and hopefully across the United States. So how many of you have one of these in your pocket right now? Got one? Hold them up. Hold them up. Come on. We got to see this, right? Yeah. Almost everybody has one of these types of devices on them, possibly two. You would grab the iPhone. So everybody has one of these in their pockets, and
Which is really
sometimes
unfortunate. Oh, because this is an ever-present problem in our society, and it's what we solve.
So what we're going to do right now is actually repair this live so you guys can see our actual service in action. So we do this on site and on demand. We are by appointment as well, up to 2 weeks out, and we found that our major customer segments are professionals, moms, because children are terror on these devices. They tear them up quite a bit, and a lot of professionals as well. So what we're going to talk about today is what we've done and what we have been doing over the last 2 years. So we've been in business since 2013. Under the Phone Falcon brand, we have trademarked our logo. What we have going on here on the screen, as I will talk, is some of the many 5-star feedback and reviews that we received over our 1,200 customers that we've serviced in the city of Louisville alone. So what we do is what we see going on right here. We show up, you call us, we've got an 800 number, you can call or text at any time. You say, hey, I need my phone fixed right now. We give you the next available appointment. We show up, perform the repair on site, and hand you the phone right back. Our most interesting point, our price point's roughly an average of $120 when we see a client. We perform these repairs in typically less than 25 minutes, and we have been collecting a lot of data on our customers. So we understand our customer segments and who we serve.
Will the Phone Falcon guys be able to repair our investor's phone? And will anyone on the panel pitch in to fund the business? Find out when Dream Funders returns. Welcome back to Dream Funders. I'm Melissa Fraser coming to you from the top floor of the Fraser History Museum in downtown Louisville.
And all the shadows patrolling the inside of the house.
The museum is one of Louisville's true gems, which has some incredibly rare artifacts, ranging from Geronimo's bow and arrows to Teddy Roosevelt's rifle, known as the Big Stick.
There are very few places in America where you can go and see these kind of artifacts, and this is just in the General Museum. One of the things that we're very proud of here is that you can come here and see exhibits that you can't see anywhere else in the world.
And while the museum showcases history, it also has a keen eye on the future.
So the Fraser History Museum celebrates those great American stories that have made America what it is today, and still at its core promotes tolerance, promotes cross-cultural understanding, and showcases really how the past is relevant to today.
Today on Dream Funders, we're hearing from a pair of local entrepreneurs who hope to make a future for themselves with a smartphone repair business. Earlier, Gil and Jared all but destroyed a phone belonging to one of our investors.
Because this is an ever-present problem in our society.
Can they put the phone back together? And more importantly, can they put together a deal for funding? We're about to find out.
So we're here today seeking $75,000 for 10% equity stake in the company. So right now, if you imagine a $1 bill, about 40% of that goes to our parts cost. Our labor is paid by commission, so I know how much we're making for this service as we go out the door. They use their own cars and their own gas. So we pay about 25% of that dollar out to them. We have a small supply cost and merchant fees, about 5%, and we target our customer acquisition cost of 15 cents on the dollar or less. We feel that we've proven this concept over 1,200 customers in this market. We want to target Cincinnati and Indianapolis. There's a reason behind that. Our B2B customers, which I'll discuss in a moment, have asked us to move into Cincinnati. We've also developed a very tight relationship with our parts supplier. In 2 years, we've become the 6th largest buyer of these parts in the state of Kentucky. They want to make more sales. They like our model. They want us to go to Indianapolis and Cincinnati because it's an attractive market opportunity. They're willing to also begin to extend credit for these parts to us if we move into those markets.
For you to move into Cincinnati, what's involved in that? Do you need a brick and mortar location? Can you?
Absolutely not. We have no retail locations available, so we are completely 100% on site. Tablets are next day, so we pick up and redeliver. We have a small lab here in the city of Louisville that's been able to service what we have now and be able to service more into the future. We're wanting to make the lab here, which is a part of the reason we're asking for the funds, kind of a mothership, or the Falcon's Nest as we call it. So that allows us to be able to do more sophisticated repairs. Again, another portion of the ask is some equipment. What it takes to expand into the city is actually very simple. What we've found is we have 4 technicians here in the city, 2 of their college kids, right out of college. They're willing to go up for a week up to Cincinnati. All we have to do is copy our digital marketing campaign, change the zip codes, and begin receiving telephone calls.
Your cost. I think you started on that a little bit earlier as far as your repair cost compared to what you charge, your profit margin on that. Could you outline a little bit more your cost, material cost, and the contract?
Yeah, so let's dip back into that. So what, about 40% for parts, about 25% for labor, that's 65%. So you add about 5% for merchant fees and some small supply. With that, we're able to either take a lot of that or add it to our customer acquisition cost. So you're looking about a 30% minus the customer acquisition
Gil,
cost.
I hate to cut you off, but I really need to apologize to someone really
Why
fast.
is
that? Well, I fixed it for you, so no hard feelings?
No, I guess not. Looks like it's working.
We would charge $120 for that. So he's roughly made, if that's about 5 minutes, about $20 a minute that we're on site. Most of our appointments do last about 25 minutes. So the tech, honestly, they do a lot of driving around, but we do have some software systems that we're building that cluster our appointments. Something else that we have that our competitors will not is a 24-hour call center. We are setting that up with a center in South Carolina to be able to take calls 24/7. Right now I'm taking the calls and talked over 1,000 customers, and they call me all hours of the night, even 2 in the morning. We get some waiters and waitresses that get off, they drop it during their shift. They need it fixed.
I have an interest in 2 cell phone stores and computer stores in the Lexington area, and if you are willing to take over the position of the present operating partner, I'd be willing to do the whole $75,000 for 20 or 25%.
So we have an offer here.
I would find that very interesting and would love to hammer out the details with you.
All right, that's good. Thank you.
No problem.
What a night! It looks like both the guys from Phone Falcon and Unmanned Services have some good ideas that might just be ready to take flight. The future is looking bright. That's all the time we have for this edition of Dream Funders. On behalf of all of the funders, the dreamers, and the whole crew behind the scenes, I'm Melissa Fraser, and we'll see you next time on Dream Funders.